Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. Season 5 is here. We are doing another season review for Amazon Prime's Hunter Season 2, one of our favorite shows. Akram, this is a very controversial season this for Season 2, but I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so this show, I haven't thought about this show in so long. I thought the show got canceled way long ago, and I'm pleased to see that it's made a return. I think they approached this season as a more type of action-oriented flow. And I don't know, I wasn't the biggest fan of how they did that. I felt like the first season was more impactful for me, but this one deals with a lot of heavy topics, so I do appreciate that. And we got the gang back together, and we also get some new members along the way. So overall, I pretty much enjoyed it. But what are your thoughts?
Well, first season I enjoyed. It reminded me so much of kind of like The Boys in a way. It's kind of like this young kid is recruited to fight this kind of evil threat, right? But yeah, this season had a different energy to it, and it felt a lot more controversial, a little bit more political. It had some crazy episodes in it that were very experimental, and the main storyline kind of paralleled this side story with Al Pacino's character Meyer. Who, spoiler if you didn't know, he died in the first season. So it was kind of flashback scenes. So it had a weird narrative energy to it, but it was interesting for the most part. Yeah, Logan Lerman. Well, first of all, damn, his facial hair. I was damn, I was jealous. So
Yeah,
I was
that's a pretty boy.
His beard grew out. I was
Yeah.
geez.
He's got old. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, he was great in this show. I love
Yeah.
that actor. Yeah, most of the cast was fine. I thought some of the characters were just a little weird at times, or very stupid. Cinematography wise, I thought it was great. I thought a lot of the shots were really nice and clean. Music was also on point too. But what other thoughts did you have?
Yeah, I mean, so the first episode we get to linger around a little bit with Jonah. So he's become kind of this more refined type of secret agent. And he's still hunting Jews. I mean, not Jews. He's still hunting, Nazis and stuff like that. Yeah. And he has a love interest, which, to be honest with you, I like the actress, Emily Rudd, but I didn't like the character that much. I felt like she was kind of annoying and sometimes got in the way.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. And then, we got the normals here. We got Roxy, Lonnie.
Mindy.
They're all right. I actually noticed in this season, it felt very unrealistic. Some scenarios that they were put into, it's the way how they handle it. I don't know. It's just the physical performance wasn't doing it for me. I felt like who was really doing it really justice was, of course, Logan Lerman's character, Jonah, and obviously Joe, but in this season he was brainwashed. But I think what really, stood out to me was the guy who they got to play Hitler. That is the most authentic Hitler I've ever seen in my life. Especially old Hitler played by Udo Kier. My goodness, how stunning his performance.
It's very strange because it's obviously there are so many portrayals of Hitler, right? We've had Inglourious Basterds, Valkyrie, even Wolfenstein did their own version. It's weird to see it when you first see Hitler.
Yeah.
But then as you start watching it, it grows on you. It's almost this actually is real.
Yeah.
Especially the last episode, when we saw the whole trial, it felt so scarily authentic. It felt like a chapter in history that just was torn out of a book, this whole trial scene. But I know you have some interesting thoughts on this. So I wanted to hear what you thought of because I think the last two episodes are impactful. Episode 7, like I said, was more kind of this experimental kind of, because it took place outside the main narrative, but it still had a lingering point to it. But it was talking more about the Holocaust and stuff.
Yeah.
But episode 8 is really where it drives the whole narrative home, was this whole tribunal for Hitler, and it's a very hypothetical trial. So I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So honestly, the last episode is probably my favorite episode. We were talking earlier, and you did make a valid point. At first glance, I was this is the most unrealistic thing because did anybody dare read a history book? Like, why are you giving Hitler a trial? Don't you know? Like, but you were saying a point that I think was really valid, right? Where you have to let him speak. Why don't you tell us?
So
exactly?
basically, this whole trial takes place after Jonah captures Hitler and he brings him to justice, right? Because he's like, you're not going to take the easy way out, right? Like, you don't get to decide your fate, right? You have to answer for all these war crimes that you did. And I love that scene where like he was walking down that hall and you just like envision like all the Jews,
Yeah, that was good.
like his ancestors. I thought that was a really great scene. So this trial in the last episode was like a big spectacle, right? And it really felt authentic because like everybody got involved, like the whole world. Like it kind of reminded me of like that episode of the Boondocks where it's like, what if Martin Luther King survived? Like what would happen? It was kind of like the same thing. It's like you had this historical figure brought back into the 21st century, right? And even though it's like the 70s, it's like not that far away from, you know, World War II. So you can imagine like the hate is still kind of like lingering from that impactful event. So Hitler is ironically represented by this Jewish lawyer. And shout out to that guy because man, that was a lot of I couldn't understand being in his shoes. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting take because obviously it's a one-sided debate, right? Like obviously we knew he was going to end up guilty, right? Because it was, it's Hitler. It's like the trial of the century. Like who's really gonna like say that Hitler is innocent, right? But there's this debate that the two lawyers have, the prosecutor and the defense attorney. They're talking about, even though this man is like the personification of evil, he still has rights, right? So it's like the debate of like the law and what's the morality, right? So that's how I took it as like why they gave him this trial, because like at the end of the day, he still has to answer through a formal indictment or whatever.
Yeah, and that also reminds me a lot of another Prime show, which is Jack Ryan, I believe in season 1, where this doctor that's in prison says, well, we need to help this Taliban member, and everyone's else saying, no, why? But he's like, we have to help him because we're doctors first, or something like that. Well, I think for me, like, again, at first it was kind of like, okay, this is kind of unrealistic, whatever, this is really weird. But then I start thinking, well, you know what though? Either they're gonna say he's not guilty, and it would have been the most like bullshito type of thing I've ever seen,
like logged off,
or, I mean, it could lead into where like you see a lot of young youths, and they're basically inspired by some stuff that he might have said in the trial, and then I think that's a good segue to season 3. Albeit I don't really know if there will be a season 3. You and I were discussing that maybe there won't be. I don't know. I'm kind of fine with it not happening. But yeah, I mean, it was a lengthy trial, and then later on, Hitler has like the cyanide capsule or something like that in a pen, and then after he pleaded guilty, and they're taking him away, and then all of a sudden it's just this big rescue type of thing where this ambulance takes him away and resuscitates him and stuff like that. And his wife, actually, I was really hoping that she wouldn't take over. I was really hoping, because I actually wanted Hitler to stay alive, because I was thinking, wouldn't that be a big finale if the Hunters people have to like fight Hitler in season 3? So I was really hoping that she would die, which, spoiler alert, she does, actually, which is really cool because this actor does an amazing job. He reminds me of Poindexter from Daredevil. Greg Austin as Travis Leitch or something like that kills her.
And it's crazy because like he has so many allies and enemies, and he has allies that are enemies too, because his wife Ava was trying to take over like as the new like leader of the party, and even the guy, like the what's the name, the guy with the messed up face, he was trying to like take over as leader as well,
Travis.
But they kept him alive because like they knew like even though like Hitler is like old and senile, he still is the face of the regime of the Third Reich, right? So it's like you have to like, he's kind of like a symbology in a way, in a messed up way. He's kind of like the head of the party. Like no matter what you do, that's why he, like, I thought it was so relevant when he said, when Ava, his wife, was saying like, we need to change the regime, right? And he's like, no matter what you do, I'm the face. I started this movement. Like generations of racists and white supremacists, they're gonna think of me, right? Because I started this whole movement. So I thought that was just like crazy symbology.
And I'm also glad that they kind of had the because like let's face it, a lot of shows, and I know some people in the comments like we got some comments where like they're saying something was woke or something like that. Sometimes that is true. There was a scene where Hitler's wife was basically saying they were having a private conversations, and she was saying that she wants to be the face and she wants to become a mother. So which I was like, you're too old. I don't understand how you're going to become a mother.
The mother of the people.
Right. And then she says that. So I was like, oh, okay. So it's like a very like alt-right feminist movement. Like
she's basically trying to be Serena from The Handmaid's Tale.
Now I know I heard it all. Yeah. I mean, I was glad that Travis actually shot her and they kind of cut the bullshit and he was like, anyway, he said like,
I saw that coming a mile away. I was like, that was so great. Like, you're not going to shoot Hitler. Come on.
Yeah, but then he wants to take over too. So I was like, oh, so anyway, Hitler's like, fuck. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to say bad words apparently because YouTube has like a problem now. But yeah, like Hitler would have just been a prisoner anyways. So I don't know. It was like weird. That really, the finale there was really fast paced. It was balancing a lot of ideas or a lot of directions where it could go. And now I feel like that it's over. I don't feel like there really has to be a season 3. There wasn't anything really lingering for season 2 to like get me like invested in a season 3.
Well, I kind of liked how it ended because it was like it was like a happy ending.
Yeah, he got married.
Although I did feel bad that like Hava didn't make it out because I kind of wanted her like to see it through the end, but she kind of made a sacrifice for Jonah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have this like big like bombastic wedding, and then like it kind of reminded me of too like the Dark Knight Rises, like when Bruce Wayne and Catwoman are like retired and stuff. So he looks over and he sees
Alfred.
Yeah, it's like it's so stupid. It's Michael Caine. But yeah, so Jonah, like they're having like lunch he's having lunch with his wife, and he looks over at this guy's like sitting down, and he has like this strange like paranoia. I thought that was like a visual, like a really like cool way to end it. It's kind of like the ending of Jaws, like how people like can't go in the water because it's like the paranoia is there. So it's like he has this unending paranoia that no matter like who, like where he is or who he's with, he's gonna see Nazis everywhere. So I think that was just like a great way to end that. So yeah, I could see a season 3, or it's Amazon, so probably they'll make a spin-off series too. I don't think we need one, to be honest. I think they pretty much. I mean, it's Hitler. What are you gonna do after Hitler, right? So it's like I think they reached their goal at the end of this series. But I also wanted to ask you what you thought of like Al Pacino's like side story in this, because it kind of felt like weird and out of place. It was kind of like for me, I took it as like breathing room in between like these very like heavy action scenes. But what did you think of them?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, even in the action scene, some of the guns I could tell like they were a little bit fake, especially in a barrel. So I don't know. I felt like they were having issues for some reason. I don't know if it was budget wise or whatever, but maybe that was on purpose. And then plus you got Al Pacino, so that's like a big plus for them. It wasn't so at first. When he was there, it was kind of confusing, like the little time things. I was kind of confused, but you get used to it. I think they handle it kind of well. It wasn't very jarring. There's a lot of shows that will do like flashbacks and it becomes very jarring. I felt like it was kind of natural. And we do see how sneaky he is, trying to protect his secret identity. And I don't know, did it offer a lot? Not really.
It really didn't, because I thought like, okay, like when you started his story in the beginning, I thought, okay, is this going to lead to like a bigger plot point that helps us find Hitler or helps us find like some other really bad Nazis? But it just ends up being like just like a closure point for Jonah. And I thought I was like, oh, that's you really just invested me in the side story that I didn't really care about, because I was so concerned about like whether or not they were going to kill Hitler. So it's like, even though, it's like you said, like they probably just brought Al Pacino in just because he's a big name and he's so involved in season 1. But other than that, I don't think his story really offered anything.
It didn't. And then again, too, we were talking earlier, like if Biff hadn't died in the beginning, this whole season would have just been down to at least 2 episodes or 3 episodes. So it was like, you shouldn't be doing that shit. So I don't know. I felt like a lot of stuff was sometimes cop outs, but overall, I think it was enjoyable for what it was. I don't know how many people are watching this right now on Prime. I don't think it has like a huge following either, which is no one has really talked about this show.
It's a very niche show. I mean, I enjoyed the first season. I thought it was like one of Amazon's,
right?
And it's funny because like they have other shows too that are similar, like Man in the Highest Castle too,
right?
And they do really like these like period piece stories like really well. But I don't know. I think season 2 was a little weaker for me. Other than the last episode, I honestly like you could just watch the last episode, and that's pretty much all you would get from this. Everything else, like you said, like I felt like some of the action scenes could have been better. I mean, like there was times where like it felt like they didn't really know like how to handle like firearms.
Yeah.
It was really strange and weird. I mean, it was more comical actually. I would feel.
Yeah, this season was like weird. It was like weird headache. I don't know. It just felt like you were not supposed to really take it serious sometimes, you know?
I feel like other shows or movies have done this kind of like genre better. And a lot of characters like annoyed me too. Like Clara. Oh my god, like Clara annoyed me so much. I was like, you're really gonna get mad at Jonah because he kills Nazi.
I mean, that's like, even more admirable, I'd say. Like if he says like I'm a part of the CIA and I kill like sometimes random people or some shit like that, he goes in depth.
The child thing I could understand, but other than that, he's doing a service.
Well, that was hearsay too. Like somebody just said, he killed it. Well, I know it was bad, but I mean, really,
but like you said, it was an accident, so it's like he couldn't control it.
I thought she would have, in a way, kind of loved that mystery. I don't know, and then that's why it seemed like she was a little bit interested because there's something mysterious about him. And then I understand, like, if she was captured, then I kind of understand her being distraught and mad and kind of wanting to get away. But in the very beginning, when she figured that all out, she should have just sat down, chill, and handle it like an adult. Take it or leave
notice she didn't even go back to him until she was watching the trial on scene.
I was like, what the fuck you?
It was so
I said
fake.
That for it again. Why are you watching the trial then? If you are you serious? Just be with your man. What the hell?
Shit.
Like that's Hitler too. That guy, your man brought him in. Are you serious? Like that's some petty shit, dude.
I know.
I don't know, but yeah, yeah.
I guess I'd probably rate this season 7 out of 10. How would you give it?
Yeah, it's hard. I'd say either between a 6 or 7 out of 10 for sure. We'll see if there will be another season. I mean, we still have Travis, but other than that, I don't know what else they'll do unless they introduce like Nazi zombies or aliens. I don't know what else they could do with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So unless they do something with Russians or something, then that's completely different. I don't know. So yes. But everybody, that is our review for Hunter Season 2, now streaming on Prime, all episodes. If you guys like this episode, please remember to like and share. It'll greatly help out our channel. And comment down below your favorite moments from this season as well. Guys, we're really excited because we're going to have, as we announced in a trailer before, a Last of Us episode by episode review. And I got this here. Yay!
I bought that shirt for
Yes, he got my boy got me that shirt. I'm so excited, guys. As I always say, I am a huge fan of The Last of Us, so stick with us, all right? And Dylan, please take us away.
Yeah, and we have so much more content planned next week and the coming months ahead. Obviously, so many great shows are coming out. We're going to do a lot more revisiteds, a lot more Let's Talk Abouts, and of course, so many other more reviews. So guys, if you aren't checking us out already, I don't know what you're doing, but please like and subscribe. We're also on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as well. But of course, you can watch our ugly mugs on YouTube as well. But yeah, any support you can give to the channel really helps us out. So thanks again, guys. And until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.